At the beginning of the 18th century, the situation in the Habsburg monarchy was complicated to say the least. It was basically a union of lands ruled over by members of the Habsburg dynasty. Kingdom of Croatia and Hungary joined each other in a personal union, two kingdoms with one ruler. In 1526, after the death of their last king, they elected a member of the Habsburg dynasty for their new king. The Habsburgs were the rulers of Archduchy of Austria, so Austria was also brought into the fold of this newly formed monarchy. The monarchy had its ups and downs, but it seemed stable for almost 200 years. But at the beginning of the 1700s, they encountered an unusual problem. They were running low on male heirs. King Leopold I had two sons, and they had no sons of their own. So in 1703, he signed an agreement with his sons, Pactum Mutuae Successionis, which amongst other things allowed succession for the female line of the dynasty. But there was another problem. In a document passed by Parliament of Hungary some years before, Article 3 clearly states that in case of extinction of male line of the Habsburgs, there is to be a new election for the King of Hungary, Croatia and Transylvania that was later joined. In 1705, King Leopold I died, passing the crown to his older son Joseph I. He would only rule for 6 years. In 1711, his younger brother Charles VI, father of Maria Theresa, will inherit the crown. Hungarian nobility probably saw this as a chance to soon elect one of their own members as a new king. But the story goes on. There was also a drift between Hungarian and Croatian nobility. Hungarian nobility wanted to drastically reduce the role and autonomy of Croatian parliament. Also, it did not help when an Austrian noble family, who owned profitable copper mines in Kingdom of Croatia, decided to lease them to members of the Hungarian nobility instead of Croatian. King Charles was in Spain when his brother died, which placed his mother Eleanor as the Queen Regent. She was a lot more politically savvy than her son Charles. She knew they could not just force the rest of the kingdom to accept the new rules, so she decided to act. Since Hungarian nobility would gain the most in case of succession crisis, she decided to convince nobility from another part of the country to join the Habsburg cause. She decided to reach an agreement with the Croatian nobility. The court in Vienna had two ways of influencing the Croatian nobility. The first way was through the Croatian Ban. Ban was a viceroyalty who served as a governor of Kingdom of Croatia. And the second way was through the Bishop of Zagreb. She chose the latter. Ironically, the bishop himself was Hungarian, but a staunch supporter of the Habsburgs. On November 17, 1711, he was officially summoned to Vienna. On March the next year, the Croatian parliament proclaimed Article 7, which allows female succession rights. In 1715, Article 120 was approved by the king himself, which guaranteed legal autonomy of the Kingdom of Croatia for all times. In 1713, new Pragmatic Sanction will be signed in Vienna by the king himself, which states, lands of Habsburg monarchy cannot be divided, and are not allowed to elect another king except from the Habsburg dynasty. In case King Charles VI does not leave a male heir, his daughters would be his legal heiress. In case his daughters don't produce an heir, the kingdom will pass on to the children of his brother. King Charles spent the rest of his life trying to convince the rest of Europe to accept female member of the Habsburg dynasty on the throne. The moment he died and passed the crown to his daughter Maria Theresa, the War of Austrian Succession started.